Mental Performance Podcast.
There it is. Welcome back to the MINDBENDER Mental Performance Podcast. Former Lycée and Oakland A mascot race winner turned pro level pickleballer Enrique Byrones not with us today. But I'm sure he'd tell any Tio Charlie listening, Kowalski makes players fuerte en la cabeza, man. If you don't have one, I'm standing on one right now. I stand on one every podcast. That's the Foot Reflexology Board, which you can find at ericburns.com. El lugar es aquí, el momento es ahora. Wherever you are, the place is here, and the time is now. We're taking it from the clouds to the dirt, where we can grow it. It's all about showing up and being present and knocking down mental and oftentimes the emotional barriers so you can perform with confidence and consistency. Episode 169 of the podcast today, it's routine, ritual, superstition. Who's really in control? Let's get real. Baseball is full of routines. I love routines. I coach them. I build them into daily life, like performance breathing, like journaling, training sessions, mental imagery and meditation, time management and organization, leadership, culture, process over outcome. But the second your routine crosses over into superstition, you're no longer the one running the show. Your bat is, your socks are, your elbow guard, your lucky seeds. And if that superstition starts dictating your behavior rather than your mental performance plan and your standard, you're giving away power that should be yours. Routine is built from discipline. Superstition is built from fear. So routine is a repeatable behavior pattern that prepares you to compete with confidence. A routine is a repeatable behavior pattern that prepares you to compete with confidence. A ritual is a detailed procedure that becomes meaningful over time. A superstition is an illogical belief that unrelated behavior, like whatever it is that you do, the same pregame meal, locking your door 3 times before you leave, right? Thinking that influences performance. All 3 show up in the game, but only one keeps you locked in and in control. So let's talk about the power of a purposeful routine. When a player has a structured routine, they take ownership of their prep, like Tony Gwynn or the great Wade Boggs used to do, 2 guys who stacked over 3,000 hits through consistent behavior, not through superstitions or some sort of voodoo magic, right? These weren't lucky habits. They were deliberate actions tied to their approach. A good routine tells your body, I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. Let's roll. Bring it on. Let's go find out. Are your pregame and in-game routines built to calm your system and prime your ideal performance state, or just habits you're scared to break? Right? I used to do 3 leg kicks, chew gum on only the left side of my mouth, and kiss my chain 3 times before every AB. But lately, I'm focusing on one breath, one thought, one intention. It's quieter, and I'm freer in the box. Conscious preparation for unconscious performance. When ritual becomes religion, when you need your socks a certain way, when you have to sit in the same dugout spot, when your whole mental state hinges on something outside of your control, we've got a problem, right? It's the tail wagging the dog. You think superstition brings you comfort, but what it really does is rob you of control. And it creates this dependency on fear-based habits. The greatest coaching manual of all time, in it in 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. A sound mind doesn't bow down to obsessive compulsions. It has self-control, has a plan, it prepares, and then it trusts with total confidence, right? So It's like the serenity prayer, man. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. A mentally tough player knows what he can control. His ape, his attitude, his appearance, his preparation, perspective, performance, not the results of how he performs, but how he performs, competing to his above the line behavior and his standard, his mission, his vision, his core principles, and his energy, effort, emotions, his APE, his APE. A mentally tough player knows what he can control. You can't control luck. You can't control fate. Who's in control of the outcomes and the results? That's God. Who's in control of the attitude, the appearance, the preparation, perspective, energy, effort, emotions? That's you. And you damn sure can't control outcomes with magical rituals. So what part of your performance preparation is based on trust in yourself versus fear of consequences? What if? Well, what if it all works out? If I don't do this exact handshake or wear my lucky shirt, I feel off. But, Coach Kowalski, I'm starting to learn the difference between prepping with intention and clinging to superstition. I want to play free, not frantic. I want to be in the ideal performance zone, not the twilight zone. Right? There's a story in this chapter in the book about Harvey Dorfman, Wade Boggs being up in a water cup. In the 11th inning of Game 7 of the 1997 World Series, Harvey Dorfman got up from his seat in the dugout to grab a cup of water. Two men reached base while he stood there sipping. Moises Alou grabbed him and said, "Stay right there, Poppy. We've got something going." Did Harvey win the game by standing at the cooler? Of course not. Edgar Renteria did that with a base hit. A little bahi. But it's a perfect example of how irrational beliefs creep in. So what's at stake? When you make superstition your strategy, you're avoiding responsibility. And that right there is the killer. Take responsibility. When you do, it's going to lead to more confidence, more consistency. Confidence leads to better performance. And performance built on faith, not fear, is how the elite play free. And that's the goal, playing clear. So are you chasing comfort or are you building conviction? Man, I've realized I use superstition to soothe my low-grade anxiety out there. But what I really need to do is double down on my process, my breath, my plan, my approach. That's where my power lives. So the challenge is this: audit your routines and approach. Are they performance-driven on things that you can control and influence, or fear-based? How about simplify? Keep it simple. Breathe, anchor down with the breath, lock in on one intention, and execute with trust and commitment. Replace superstition with skill. If you're going to touch the plate 3 times, cool, man, go ahead. But make sure your breath, your body language, your focus, your self-talk, your belief, and your behavior are sharper than your quirks, man. Trust yourself. Harvey Dorfman always used to say, those muscles swing the bat and they need the message. You're good. Let's compete. Right? Verbal trigger. Routine? Necessary. Ritual? Fine. If it builds purpose. Superstition? Throw it out if it controls you. You want to play free? Play with purpose. You want to pop barrels? Practice popping barrels. Not tipping your cap 3 times to the sky and touching your drippy 7 times before each pitch. You want to own the game? Own your preparation, man. And your mindset. Consistent behavior gets consistent performance. That ain't superstition. That's straight up human nature. That's what we know. That's trust. That's truth. So the next time you're tempted to give your power away to your socks or your gum or your special seeds, ask yourself, who's in control here? Me or my superstition? Para mis jugadores latinos, más línea, más vida. Hasta la próxima. Recuerda, si quieres un jugador disciplinado, comprometido y preparado en el futuro, empiezas esa mierda hoy. Se necesita lo que se necesita y lo mejor está por venir. If you want to be a disciplined, committed, confident, and prepared ball player in the future, start being that dude today. It takes what it takes. Be good to yourselves. And the best is yet to come.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.